I've seen plenty of JJK videos pointing out where Gege makes parallels from Buddhism. One main example is Maharaga with his divine Sila, which is an artifact that is in Buddhism. You got people reincarnating left and right. Gojo's most famous line, "I alone am the honored one," is literally pulled from Buddha himself, etc. But I have not seen any other parallels drawn from any other big canon religious type stories. And I recognized this one a long time ago. I'm just now getting around to pointing it out because I assumed somebody else had already done it, but it's been like a year since I thought of this and I still haven't seen anyone do it, so here it is. And by the way, I could be ignorant. This parallel might literally be in Buddhism and I just don't know enough about it. But in the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is literally the oldest recorded story known to man, there is a pretty big parallel you can draw between two of the characters. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh is this tyrant king who's basically uncontested. He's the strongest guy around, that's why he's the king, and he does whatever he wants with his power. He's terrorizing all of his people all the time, and the gods are sitting here watching this and like, okay, we've had enough. So they want to make somebody who can humble Gilgamesh, and they do this by creating this half-animal, half-man named Enkidu. So Enkidu basically gets spawned in, and he hears about all the stuff Gilgamesh is doing, and he goes to challenge him. So he gets there and they start fighting. They have this epic battle that starts destroying the entire city with the amount of force these two people can generate, but ultimately the fight ends in a draw. Even the creature the gods created could not beat Gilgamesh, but Gilgamesh could not beat this creature. And at the end, both of them look at each other and just shake hands and say, "That was sick. Let's just be best freaking friends now." Now, does that sound familiar? So, manga spoilers, Yuji is literally a thing created by these higher power characters in the story, and Todo is like the resident badass. The reason they fought isn't exactly the same, but the outcome is. So now back to the Epic of Gilgamesh. Once they become best friends, what do they decide to go do? They decide to start roaming the lands and fighting all the strongest monsters they can find. What does Yuji and Todo do after they become best friends? They go beat Haname's ass, they go beat Mahito's ass, and manga spoilers, they go beat Sukuna's ass. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh and Enkidu go fight this legendary demon named Humbaba, and this pisses off even more gods, so they send down the Heavenly Bull to try to finally kill these two. Gilgamesh and Enkidu look at the Heavenly Bull and they laugh and they beat its ass too. So yeah, you get my point. Gilgamesh and Enkidu are Yuji and Todo. So there's a connection between Enkidu, Gilgamesh, Yuji, and Todo. But what happens after they fight the Heavenly Bull in the Epic of Gilgamesh is the gods are so pissed now that they're like done beating around the bush and they just sentence Enkidu to death. Gilgamesh can do nothing about this, he is completely helpless, and he watches his best friend die. Now, if Gege is making these parallels, and he does continue to, this doesn't bode well for the not main character in this parallel, which is Todo. Likely in this fight against Sukuna that's happening right now, or against the merger that might happen in the future, Todo might end up dying. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh is forced to realize that Enkidu was equally as powerful as him. This forces him to realize that if Enkidu can die, then so can he. Then Gilgamesh goes on this quest to seek immortality. Now, I don't think Yuji is going to go on a similar quest, but we do see themes of people searching for immortality in JJK. I mean, Kenjaku and Sukuna have been alive for thousands of years or whatever. The story continues with Gilgamesh realizing that there is no such thing as immortality, and so he gives up on it. He tried everything he could, and finally decides to finish off his life by just being a good king and passing down the story of him and Enkidu's epic adventures, because he knows the story will live longer than he can. Now, this does seem like something that Yuji would pursue. So far, a lot of people have died, and I could see him wanting to continue their stories. But anyway, that's all the parallels I see in the Epic of Gilgamesh. If you guys know the story and can find more, feel free to comment below. And if you've heard of any archetypal characters like Gilgamesh and Enkidu in other stories, please let me know too. That would be interesting. Peace.